It sounds so simple. Don't eat or drink too much, but looks can be deceiving. It's easy to eat or drink more than we had planned. Today, I'm joining you with the Newton County Cooperative Extension Service. We're going to talk a bit about portion sizes, and I hope that you leave this short presentation with a few tools you can use to measure your portions for yourself and your family. Portion sizes have grown over time so that now our perception of portion sizes is skewed. For example, in the 50s, a family size bottle of soda was 26 ounces, and now a single serve bottle is 20 ounces. Another example is French fries. A serving of French fries is 10 French fries. How surprising is that? Here is an illustration comparing what we are often served to what one serving actually looks like. So here, what we're often served, this looks like a pretty typical plate. It's a half-pound cheeseburger. We have an order of fries, covers about half of the plate, a significant amount of ketchup. Traditionally, you may even receive the entire bottle of ketchup at your table. Let's look at one serving. That cheeseburger is cut in half. There's the 10 French fries we spoke of a minute ago, and 2 tablespoons of ketchup. If you go to the movie theater, you have an option to get like a jumbo popcorn. There's about 30 cups of popcorn in that container, whereas one serving of popcorn is 3 cups. So overall, the best way to determine the amount of food in a serving is to look at the nutrition fact label and measure it. But instead of trying to memorize like a list of ounces and cups and tablespoons, we can compare the serving sizes of foods to things that we are already familiar with. For example, a serving of cereal, 1 cup of cereal, is about the size of a baseball. A cup of rice, a cup of cooked rice, is about the size of a tennis ball. Here's one that it's easy to overdo it on: cheese. A serving of cheese is about the size of a 1 inch by 1 inch cube. You could also think of 2 dominoes. Meat often gets cast as the star of the show. Here we have a deck of cards. It's about the same size as a serving of meat, which is 3 ounces. Okay, might be a little surprising. I have often struggled with portioning spaghetti. So when I'm cooking spaghetti, I either don't cook enough or I cook enough for 12 people. I just grabbed some, put it in the pot, and hoped for the best. Well, I have learned that spaghetti can be measured when you grab it out of the container by the diameter of the dried noodles. So here is a nickel, okay? This nickel, so when you grab spaghetti out of the container, when it's about the size of a nickel, that is 1 serving of spaghetti. Salad dressing. So salad dressing, mayonnaise, about a tablespoon. Here is a matchbook, about the same size as a tablespoon of salad dressing or a condiment like mayonnaise. Let's take a look at some food models. These models are in appropriate portion sizes. They are placed on small plates, something you might be familiar with seeing like a dessert on. Okay, so they're about 5 to 6 inches in diameter, these plates. We'll start with the grains group. We've got a bran muffin, some pretzels, mac and cheese, a cup of cereal, and cornbread. Moving on to dairy, yogurt, milk, and cheese. The large glass of milk is a cup of milk, and the smaller glass is half a cup of milk. In the protein group, we've got a hamburger, a pork chop, chicken thigh, and peanut butter. Here in the fruit group, we have an entire orange, a peach, a pear, a cup of strawberries, and a glass of fruit juice. We also have some sweets, and these are often served to us in sizes that are far larger than a portion. This candy bar is about 1 inch by 3 inches. It is small compared to what we're used to receiving in a package, especially if you grab like a king-size candy bar. Here we have a cinnamon roll, not a jumbo cinnamon roll, a scoop of chocolate ice cream, half a cup of Jell-O, and a glass of soda. Another great way to measure serving sizes is with your hand. So fruits, vegetables, grains, those servings are a cup, and you can make a fist, and that is about the size of a cup. So for example, here is a plate with a cup of mashed potatoes. So I can make a fist, place it over the top of the mashed potatoes, and take a look at it and see if they're about the same size. Meat, fish, or poultry, we talked about being 3 ounces, about the size of a deck of cards. That's also about the size of the palm of your hand. So here is a chicken thigh, food model. I can place that in the palm of my hand, and it's pretty easy to see that it's about the same size as the palm of my hand. We talked about cheese being about the same size as a pair of dice, or that 1 inch by 1 inch cube. Another way to think about that is the length of your thumb. So an ounce of cheese is about the length of your thumb. Snacks like pretzels or chips, they are a cupped handful. A few tips for around the house. Look at your dishes. So if you're serving on a plate that is large, it's easy to over-provide, to over-serve on a large plate. If you shrink your plate size down, when you put your serving sizes on it, it's much more appetizing, much more appealing to have a full plate than to have a plate with a lot of white space on it. So that's something that you can experiment with in your home. Putting away leftovers in a separate, maybe already portion controlled container. So that way when you go back the next day to make your lunch or to prepare a meal, that they're already in individual portions. You can also freeze things in portion sizes if there's something you're not going to eat for a while. Avoid eating out of a carton or package. Instead of going and sitting with a whole bag of pretzels, you could get your appropriate handful, put it on a plate or a paper towel, something like that, hold it in your hand, and recognize that that is your portion size. So you may have realized that portion sizes are often smaller than you think that they should be. So even after you've mastered eating normal sized portions, it can be extra challenging in the supersized world. Research has shown that the more food that we see, the more food that we eat. So keep those extra large portions out of sight and out of mind. We've already talked about how surprising it can be for us as adults to recognize our portion sizes. Let's take a moment to consider the kids. The appropriate portion sizes for young children is 1 tablespoon per year of age. So if you have a 3-year-old, then an appropriate portion size of a fruit or a vegetable or a grain would be 3 tablespoons. Let's look at dairy. 3/4 of a cup of milk or 1/2 ounce of cheese. Thank you for joining us today.